Welcome everyone. I'm a little bit early today, but I just thought I would pop on and be on here for an early live, and then complete some of these granny squares that we have to do for hooked by a robin's crochet along. So that's what we will do. These are just straight granny squares, normal granny squares, and this is the cow by her. Hi Ian, how are you today? I'm starting to get really tired of this heat. Like it's been um, a heat wave for over 2 weeks now, and if it could be cold one day, like that would be great. But it's still hot, and I still have to keep my AC on, and that's annoying as heck, right? That's expensive, you know. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish up some granny squares I had to do. These are just gonna be white, black, white, black, white, black. The last color being black as the border, and they have a half double crochet border. So nothing fancy. It's just a little granny square, black and white, just to balance out all the neons of this blanket, because I've been using all neons. I've been quite conservative with the projects I make lately. Like, other than orders, I've been just like finishing up orders and tests. Because I've been having a lot of flare ups. So, I have one that I'm excited to show you, but I can only show you starting Sunday. So, because it's released on Sunday, probably a little bit after that, but the official finish date for it is Sunday. And it's a very cool mosaic blanket that I've not shown yet. But it's not gonna be finished. I decided to preserve my hands to not finish it completely, and just have two of the rows finished instead of three, which I would probably have done four had have I had even more time than this, because it would be just bigger. You know, it's fun to have big blankets. I do love big blankets. But I liked the idea of making it a square, so I would do like 3 by 3 cat heads. You'll see what I mean once it's released, but yeah, right now it's gonna be 2 rows. I might add more later, but the urge was mostly to test at least one of each cat heads, because it's composed of a few different styles, you know, as most mosaic crochet projects are. You have different motifs and things like that. But this one is pretty great at that. Hi everyone, what are you all up to? Oh, by the way, I have a birthday party this Friday at 12 Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. That means not at midnight, because that would be late. So as of right now, I'm torn. Do I finish squares one by one? Or do I make all the rows in white and then all the rows in black? What do you guys think? Vote down below. Vote in the chat. Do I finish one by one, or do I make all the rows? because as I work through them, I seem to get tired and annoyed, like, of each square individually. And then it's like, but if I do it one by one, then I'm like, ugh, I have to start all over again. So it's kind of the lesser of two evils, you know. I never really like doing the same thing over and over again. My brain struggles with that idea. But if I can make it easier for myself, I will, you know. Okay. What do you think about that? What do you guys do when you have repetitive projects? Repetitive projects. Thank you, Nightbot. And don't forget to leave a like. Also, that helps the stream get visibility from YouTube because YouTube suggests streams that have the most likes. So don't forget to hit the like button if you're watching. Alright, so this so far. I'll be right back. Oh yeah, by the way, they're not even reconducting the sewers um, uh, in front of my house. That was the wrong sheet they put on the door. They're actually building a cycling path. So we're gonna have cyclists running into us. Yay! You know how they all do. What did it delete, Ian? What were you trying to say? Did it have a link? Hi, Moonrose. Just text me it, Ian. Because I removed all moderation tools from my channel, so it shouldn't be blocking you out. I'm so used to doing mosaic crochet that it's how I'm starting, like in my corners, instead of going normally. And I'm just like, yeah, but I can't do that here. Because when you do mosaic crochet, you have to secure your tail first and not the yarn. So you have to put it through your loops. You like drag it through and then you pull, and then that's how you start your row. But when you attach regular yarn to a project, you do a slip knot. Well, you don't do a slip knot. You do a slip stitch. Um, but then after that, you work over it, I was not gone. I was just brushing my hair. I said so. Why every time you come on here and I'm off camera for 5 seconds, you tell me I'm gone? I was not gone. Anyway, I'm gonna move past this. I'm gonna talk about something else now because I'm getting aggravated. I'm sorry. But yes, we're gonna have a cycling road, which doesn't bode well, to be honest. I have never been a fan of those, and it's just because people don't use it. They're still gonna cycle on the sidewalk and be annoying. If people don't use them properly, and they use it as an excuse to hurt pedestrians. Like, for real, they do. They scream at you and they're like, "Look both ways, blah blah blah," and they're like going at you full speed. And it's like, yeah, but you're on a bike, you're seeing me go, and you decide to continue. I'm not the one who has to jump on the thing, to avoid cyclists. I shouldn't have to hurt myself to avoid cyclists, but I do on a regular basis. For real, like, that's what you have to do. You have to jump up on the side to avoid them because they don't stop. But yeah, it's stupid because the construction is almost done. They're like missing one single small strip of concrete uh, just next to the pavement. Like, just next to the pavement, there is about this size of concrete missing that they have to fill up, and after that, it's all done. But they put that off for weeks now. Well, it's been over a week, a little bit over a week, and it just means that it's really hard to get by. If they just if they just added that, like, it would be all done. All that would be needed is the paint for the signal, not the signal, but like the bike lanes. Essentially, it would be all over. But of course, they're dragging it out because that's how Montreal works. For those who don't know, we have two seasons here. We have winter and all the subdivisions of winter, and then we have construction season. That's the last one. But we have only two seasons. We don't have anything like that. We don't have fall and all of those. It's non-existent here. Like, our spring is for about 5 seconds. It's slightly cooler, and then after that, it's construction season. Like, I've seen snow in June, like, for real. It was a year or two ago. I believe it was 2 years ago, but it snowed in June, and I was just like, okay, it's the end of the world. It's official now. How's the weather today for you guys? I don't want to be the only one talking and complaining about the weather. It's been quite hot here. Has it been hot where you are too? Because I know there's been having a lot of heat waves on this planet. But I also see people complaining that it's cold where they are, so I wonder where exactly is it cold? It's hot here too. Yeah. Humid. Yes, the humidity. My goodness, my hair's so frizzy. And my ears are completely clogged from the humidity. It's like it's infernal weather right now. I think it is about to be the end soon. Not the end of the humidity, I mean the end of the world, obviously. I'm telling you guys, Ian and I said that we would get on a spaceship. So if for some reason you stop seeing us, you'll know where we are. Like we decided to F off basically. The world is coming to an end. I put something on Facebook that I got from threads, people spreading misinformation about health. And I do want to talk about it here because I believe it is an important subject. However, it might be a little bit offsetting to some people. So I'm going to do a disclaimer. If you don't want to hear about bodily anatomical parts and AFAB health, AFAB means assigned female at birth. So if you don't want to hear about female anatomy or health and things like that, please skip this segment and come back later. But I did want to talk about this because there is so much misinformation that started being spread by religion and it's just like perpetuating some harmful myths today. Some gynecologists are trying to demystify all of this and make it more widely known and to demystify the construct and just bring awareness to this. But there is a lady on Threads that was commenting on a post. The post was just asking mothers if they provide their AFAB children with tampons or with pads, like their young menstruating teens. Um, and people were just going like, "Oh, that's what I do for my teen. Oh, that's what I do. This is what I do. That's what I do." And there is one completely mad, unhinged, crazy woman who goes, "Ah, you all are breaking your child's hymen. Why are you giving tampons to your child? You're breaking their hymen. You're hurting them. Don't you know tampons are so harmful for the body? Blah, 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 blah." And so people were telling her that she's essentially wrong and explaining. Some of them, to be fair, some of them were quite rude and like mean towards her. And after all, it is the choice she makes for her children. But and then she was attacking people for supposedly sexualizing her comment. Well, that's what she did. She was like, "You're stealing your child's virginity by giving them tampons. Oh my goodness." And so people were just basically telling her she was wrong. And I said, well, technically, first of all, you're not breaking an hymen with a tampon unless you have an anatomical difference. Like, some people, it's very rare, but sometimes the hymen can hide the whole thing. Like, it can um, like be spread over the whole entrance of the vagina, but this is very rare. And in many cases, it needs to be perforated medically because that will hurt as hell. And even like regular intercourse would not help with that. Like it would be insanely painful and it needs to be done medically. So I was like, if you have concerns, go to your doctor. But like, it's actually very rare to have an anatomical differences that make it so you can't wear tampons. And like she was like, you guys completely ignored that I said tampons are harmful. You're just all obsessed with hymens, blah blah blah. And she was just projecting at that point. She was just being a bitch, right? Anyway. And yeah, she was just being the nastiest piece of beep and talking about the purity aspect of virginity of young girls and blah blah blah. And that is such a myth. Like, I would like to talk about this. I apologize if it is too much, but yes. I know, right? She didn't know a fucking thing. She was just obsessed with the idea of stealing little girls' purity. But if you're not informed about this, I would like to inform you now. And like, don't take my word for it. Make your own research. But if you do talk to a doctor, I'd advise you to go to a doctor who does not body shame, who is sex positive, and who is informative and brings you the actual truth. Don't go to a doctor who has religious bias or religious intent, because they will instruct you according to those religious beliefs. So I advise you, go to someone who will just stick to the facts and tell you what the body does. But first of very all, the hymen's purpose. The hymen is there for only one reason, and it is not to protect purity. That would make no sense as a mammal to have that. Like, it's just painful to like have it just for that. Like, every time you would have the first encounter, it would just hurt. If it was for that purpose, it would be completely pointless. The body would not have done something just to hurt itself. So that is not why it's there. It's because when you have an infant, right? Especially when that infant is still in the womb, um, and things like that, and also outside, even outside of the womb, when a child is an infant, like a baby, right? It cannot clean itself, so it gets some fecal matter all over the place, and that can give you a yeast infection. And so the hymen's purpose is to protect the baby from that. That is the only use. That's the only use. It protects the vagina's health. That's all it does. It protects it from entering. That's the only thing it's for. First of very all. And second of all, this myth that it needs to be perforated by the first sexual encounter is not true, actually. First of all, like, I'm gonna go TMI on here, but when I did it the first time, it didn't even break my hymen all the way. It did bleed and it did hurt as hell, and it was not fun at all. But I needed a second time. After that, I was mainly okay, but I've always been kind of having problems with that. But like, a hymen doesn't need to break for you to have sex. That is not true. It does not need to rip. It does not need to bleed. Again, if you are one of the very rare people that have a full hymen that hides the full entrance of the vagina, you need to go see your doctor about this. You need to talk to your doctor about this, because there's an intervention they can perform on you to help you with that. They will make a small incision. They will not remove the whole thing usually, but they can make a small incision to make it better for you. Like, sometimes it just needs to be perforated. That's what it needs. Hi, welcome in. We're talking about health right now. So I'm sorry if the topic is a little bit much for some people, but I saw some concerning posts online, so I wanted to talk about this. But yeah, sometimes it needs to be perforated by a doctor. But you should talk to your doctor first and foremost if you have concerns, if you're not sure, or if it's for your child. Like, if your child is having problems, be it hygiene problems or anything like that, like if they have concerns with their own bodies or pain with the use of menstrual products and so on, like, you should talk to a doctor about this. again, a trusted doctor, not someone who will have religious bias and will instruct you about purity and all that. You don't need that. Like, even I get, like, for some people it's your beliefs and you want to keep at that. But when it comes to your physical health, you need someone who will inform you about the latest known things. Because for real, like, even it's not in an attempt to be disrespectful to people's beliefs, but I just mean that um, you need someone who's not caught up in the idea that a hymen exists to protect virginity, right? Because that is simply not true. Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you do horseback riding, a lot of people rip their hymen that way. And so what? They're not a virgin anymore because they rode a horse? Like, that's completely ridiculous. But like, that's one of the most common horseback riding injuries for young people. It's that a ruptured hymen. I'm not even kidding, by the way, it's true. And it's, imagine the horror of like seeing that your first time. Anyway, that's a little bit graphic, I apologize, but it is one of the most common injuries. uh but yeah, the idea of purity is completely harmful to girls. It's just serving to shame their bodies. Oh, that the person left as soon as I talked about this. But yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I didn't want to make it about that. That's why I'm focusing on the health aspect. Like, I would really urge you all to, if you have concerns in that area, first and foremost, get you a trusted gynecologist. I know not everyone has that privilege of having a doctor they really trust to talk about those issues. But what I said is true, by the way. A hymen does not need to um, perforate or rupture or break. It can stretch over time if you go slow and all that stuff. If you're careful, it doesn't need to hurt for most people. Like I was saying, sometimes bodies are different, right? But yeah, it does not need to hurt. I wish I knew this before because goodness. Anyway, yeah, I do like horses and I've been horseback riding, but I've not had this specific problem because I've not done it like as a sport. Like I've been like once or twice. I apologize to everyone about the gross subjects. It's not supposed to be a gross subject, but more often than not, sadly, my channel seems to be attracting a lot of conservatives for some reason. I don't know why, because I'm queer as hell and I talk about that stuff all the time. But I just wanted you all to know, essentially. Oh, thank you, Ian. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a good time. But yeah, now I will be talking about granny squares because I'm losing all my viewers. Not you, Ian, but the others. Like that person came in from half a second and saw what I was talking about. I did do disclaimer, so I'll let you know later. But there's someone who was getting on my system earlier, so I'll text you about that later. Right, we are done with the third row of these. So far, we only have 3 rows. But at least I'm getting a little bit of progress done, I guess, But yeah, I see posts on social media all the time, and I'm an advocate for health and things like that. I'm a disability advocate and also a queer, an advocate for queer rights, and all that stuff. But I'm also about health and about feeling safe about all those things. I'm all for bodies and body positivity, and all that. It is very important to me, and it's because I've been in a very repressive background, and so I talk about this a lot. But it is something that for me has a lot of importance. I know that not everyone wants to tune in expecting to see granny squares and like I'm talking about these, but like it shouldn't be that big gross issue, right? It should just be normal to talk about this. But it isn't. But one of my goals is to make it so it's at least a little bit more normal and expected. And on my channel, always expect me to talk about stuff like that because it matters to me. But yeah, we have all of these right now. So I need 3 more rounds on these. We'll not do that on stream, I don't think, because I have other stuff to do. But I did want to welcome you all here. I did want to hang out for a bit. Because last week I didn't do a very long live session. I did I waited 10 minutes in the lobby and then I did a 15-minute stream. So that was rather short. I just basically talked about all my granny square whips. That's what I did the last time around. Okay, I'm trying to make a knot, but it doesn't knot. Okay, that did. I at least make it for the first pass when I'm weaving in the ends. Anyway, it's like weird. Yeah. Okay. But often as a queer person, I have um, perspectives and things that you guys would not think about, and that might make some folks uncomfortable because most people who watch my channel are religious. I don't have anything against it specifically. But like sometimes when it comes to purity and things like that, I do find it harmful. Like we have a lot of body expectations on very young bodies that we project onto them, and I fight against that personally because I don't think it's right to be like you should be like this and like that. It's almost like predetermining. So that's yeah. Right now I'm trying to weave in one side of my ends, but it is not really working very well. I will be doing a last pass here. Oh my. Okay, but anyway. Back. I lost my idea just there. Give me a second. Anyway, I have a birthday party coming up this Friday. So if you want to come, you are welcome. I will put the link down below if you want to check it out. Hydration reminder, folks. But it is 12 p.m. Eastern Time in 2 days. So this Friday. It's not my actual birthday, mind you. I'm doing it this day because I have to. I can't do it any other day. But my actual birthday is Saturday, so I'm not doing anything for my birthday. I don't have any money, so I'm staying home and I'm working. That's what I'm doing for my birthday. Thank you for the likes. So, now we have this so far. So now a row of black. So these are just really striped. I am using this 5mm hook by Omi. You can find these on Amazon. This one is sparkly red, yellow, and blue. Quite nice. It's quite thicker than the Furls ones, by the way, for real. This is at least a 5.5 compared to Furls. And I noticed this because I held it together next to the other ones. And when I make squares and things, they don't match up. So I'm using it for the same projects. I'm not like mix and matching. This just to avoid gauge differences because I do have tension issues. I do crochet quite loose. So for this one, I'm using the bigger hook. And because this will be a blanket, so it doesn't really matter. Like, it's just gonna be quicker if all the squares are a tiny bit bigger. And big blankets are fun, so. What have you all guys been doing lately? I've been having a lot of flare-ups, so I've not been playing Stardew Valley anymore. Because every time I do, if my hands already hurt, it's gonna hurt more. So I've not been doing that. I've I've effectively taken a break from Stardew Valley. I'm like in the middle of winter at the moment. I'm at the night festival thing. I'm buying paintings every night and trying to fish for squids. And using the little totems to get home. So if you guys have had recently Granny Square projects and you would like to discuss that in the chat, feel free to. I would love to know. Always looking for inspiration. Even though I don't need it right now, I have like 20 projects of Granny Squares. But I'm always anxious to hear what you're working on. There. Anyway, I'm gonna go now, so thank you for stopping by. I will think of another series because obviously you guys are not really necessarily interested in watching me do this. So I will see. I might delete the other lives for the rest of the month. But I will think of a different series. Let me know in the comments what you would actually like to see. Not other crafts, though I have a lot of work, so I can't be like making special weird stuff. I can't really paint anymore, and I can't really do cross stitch anymore either. It's just a lot with my current conditions. But if there's a series you would be interested in, please let me know. And I will see you later. So, bye everyone.